So if I return from a backpacking trip dumber than what I was before I left, I'm doing something wrong. This backpacking life is a continual learning experience, but some things should be learned earlier than others. Let's talk about some of those common rookie mistakes in backpacking. Mistake is in the title. I don't know if that's the right word for what we're talking about here, because the word mistake kind of implies that there's an absolute right way and an absolute wrong way. But the more I spend my time backpacking, the more I believe that there are actually very few absolutes. It's more like best advice. It's more like applying knowledge and experience to situations than it is about a rule book of do's and don'ts. There definitely are best or better ways for most people to handle most common situations. So here's a few. Alright, so number one is overpacking. Packing light is like a superpower because it's knowing how to live and survive and enjoy and be comfortable in the wild while bringing as little as possible. So what are the benefits of carrying less weight? Why would we put so much time and thought into figuring this out? I have a few benefits here. Carrying light makes for more trail miles. You can see and experience more in less time. So the second benefit is that carrying light makes for a more comfortable carry along the way. Achy shoulders, pain in your hips or in your back, sore feet, these things can be a constant nag, and it may completely ruin what should be a great experience. Alright, so the third benefit is that carrying light helps you get a better night's sleep because your body isn't as achy and so deeply in recovery mode that you can't get comfortable. Yeah, you could dose up on ibuprofen, but that's really not a great way to go. And finally, carrying light, because you don't have a lot of aches and pains nagging you and occupying your mind, can free you up to enjoy the serenity, the sounds of the forest, the fresh air, the things that bring you to the trail. Okay, so here's the common rookie mistake. Packing every single just-in-case item you can think of will probably result in a case of you injuring yourself because you're carrying too much.
Oh, really?
Which would make that 5-pound first aid kit a lot more useful. Now you can fix all this by becoming a ruthless editor. Right? Lay everything out on your floor at home and then ruthlessly eliminate anything you don't absolutely need. And when I say absolutely need, I don't mean things I might need. For instance, instead of that giant tub of shampoo that you want to bring with you, bring a tiny little travel-sized toiletries. You know what? I heard the other day that humans can survive many days without washing their hair. Really? There's cases of people surviving that. Hand to God, it's the truth.
Whoop, whoop.
Avoid bringing everything for nothing. There's no sense in taking 20 extra pounds of stuff along for a long walk and never using it. With a few exceptions, anything outside the 10 essentials should be scrutinized for actual need. Now, the things you should bring are the 10 essentials. The link down below if you're not familiar with it. There's nothing quite like realizing you've forgotten your headlamp right as the sun is setting, or your sunscreen as you feel your skin burning on fire. You know, you might also bring something that isn't a real need, but it would make your trip a lot more enjoyable. One example might be like a camp chair, or maybe a book, or maybe a deck of cards. Go ahead and bring those things if it brings you comfort and makes you really enjoy your trip. And to help best ensure you don't forget anything, make a list and check it twice. Now, my number 2 on this list of mistakes is to break in your shoes. There's a special kind of torture reserved for those who decide to not break in their brand spanking new shoes before a multi-day backpacking trip. However, for the masochists, please enjoy your grape-sized blisters in the worst possible places.
What?
Now, the common rookie mistake is assuming that because they're expensive, your new shoes must be magically comfortable and won't cause any blisters.
Ping.
And newsflash, it's not the price of the shoe that causes blisters. Take your shoes out on a few shorter hikes before you embark on your epic adventure. Pay very close attention to how they feel. What I do is I mentally focus on every part of my foot, the heel, the toes, the instep, etc. One part at a time, one foot at a time. And think about how it feels while you're hiking. Is any part rubbing? Does it feel hot? Is it pinching too much? If so, you might make some adjustments to your lacing or maybe the types of socks that you're using. And if your shoes just aren't working for you, just exchange them for a pair that do. That means that you need to buy shoes from a place that has a good return policy. And number 3, and the final one on my list for this video, is to be familiar with the area. Even if you've never been there before, familiarize yourself with where you are going. Here's 3 things to consider. Number 1, get out a map or go to a satellite view and study the topography. Know where the lakes and the streams are. Look for landmarks. Understand the elevation changes. Are there any roads nearby? Where are the potential emergency exit points? Is it forested? Are there meadows? Are there exposed areas? Just study the map and really get to know the terrain. And the second tip here is to look into expectations of wildlife so you can determine the strategy for protecting your food in your camp. Look at social media places, maybe governing agencies for the area, maybe some trail apps. Wherever you find information about the trail, that's where you should look to find information about wildlife. And then the third tip is to understand current trail conditions by going to the same places you would go to find information about wildlife. For instance, is it going to be icy, maybe muddy, maybe super rocky? This will kind of inform your choice of footwear and the amount of planned distance that you're going to hike per day. So the common rookie mistake here is not being ready for what you should have known about the trail before you go out on your trip. You may have planned 15-mile days, but didn't understand that the elevation gain was going to be 5,000 feet per day. Or that the trail had a lot of blowdowns due to some recent storms. Now these kind of things will change your planning. The number of miles per day, maybe your camping locations, maybe the number of days for the whole trip. So study up on these things. Now one caveat to all this advice is to not take this too far. Getting too caught up in the details or getting stuck in, I don't know if I'm ready, perfectionist kind of mindset really can be defeating. You don't need to know everything about the entire trail before you take your first step. Save a little adventure for the adventure. So by avoiding these common mistakes, you can set yourself up for a successful and enjoyable life of adventuring in the wild. So get out there, explore the beauty of nature, and create some memories that'll last a lifetime. And hey, if you happen to make a mistake or two, just treat it as a learning opportunity. Learn and grow, right? Now, get off of YouTube and go live like you want it. I'll see you on the trail. Hey, this is David on Earth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And go to the website for some deals on gear. All right, see you on the trail.